spaces or something.
Yeah, I'll put filters on.
Okay, you're ready.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
We'll go
morning,
ahead and
Jeff.
start this February meeting of the COIDA. We'll start out, we'll skip the chairman's comments and go right into, today we're going to be doing the reorganization of the agency. So we have to start out with the confirmation of the agency board meeting schedule. Does that meeting work for everybody at that time for this year, coming year?
Yeah, it's gonna be alignment with everything on the other.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yep.
We don't need to actually approve that.
No.
No, okay. So, all right, now we'll move right into the election of the officers of the agency. So before we open for nominations for
I nominate
chair.
Jeff.
You
nominate
move for
Jeff.
president, you move for Jeff, a second.
Sure.
Chair.
Okay, any other nominations?
Please.
All right, we'll close the floor for nominations. All in favor of Jeff Turner being of the IDA for this coming year?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
I nominate.
thank you very much.
Congratulations
Now
and
we'll
thank
move
you.
into the vice chair role.
I nominate Dave Rowley. Second.
Dave, would you be a candidate for the position?
I would, yeah.
Okay.
That enthusiastic.
Yes. Any other nominations? We'll close the floor to nominations. All in favor of Dave Rowley being the vice chair of the IDA? Aye. Any opposed? All right, we'll now open up the floor for nominations for treasurer of the IDA.
Jeff Lord.
I will second that.
Okay, any other nominations? Jeff, do you accept that position? If
Certainly.
Okay, all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Now we'll open up to secretary of the board. Any nominations?
Craig Johnson.
I will second that.
All right, any other nominations? Craig, are you willing to serve if elected?
Sure.
Okay. All in favor of Craig Ellsman as the secretary of the IDA?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. The election of the officers for the agency that we conducted for this year. So we'll move into the appointment of the CO, Chief Operating Officer and agency staff. Appointment, I guess, we do have to actually appoint, I don't think we have to do that. Okay.
No.
So we'll continue with the staff that we have. Move into the appointment of the auditing firm regarding preparation of financial statements. Any issues with using the current form that we have?
As long as we follow the procedures to get the accounting firms that was.
Yeah, next year we will have to definitely go out for proposals.
We discussed that.
You have to do that periodically then?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think every 3 years, it's good practice, best practice.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
So
Good point.
so next year, we'll next year we'll be going out and doing an RFP.
I'll make a motion.
So moved,
Second.
okay, so moved, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Appointment of the agency council. Motion,
Move it.
Second.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Appointment of the bond council to the agency.
Again, same question.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's on the same cycle.
Is that on the same cycle as the financial?
The use of Joe Scott has been really decent this past year. The difficulty on going out for proposals with bond councils is that they all give you their standard hourly rates, and you can compare those rates. But Joe's firm has been doing a lot of pro bono work for us and not charging for it for the past year, where you can't guarantee that another firm is going to do that.
Regardless of any of that, the question is that what do we have to do by the state, so do we have to bid that out?
We don't have to, but I think as a practice, we'll go out this spring and this summer and advertise to get some interest from other bond councils that have not will actually have him come in and talk to us about that procedure. My worry is that the only worry or concern I have about Joe's firm right now is that Joe is extremely busy. There are times where it takes him for a couple of days to get back to us on a question. And that is a concern. That's one of the reasons that we want to start looking either who's going to replace him, because he's probably going to retire soon.
It's a good question to ask.
Mhm.
About the person like him. I think the other thing with going to another council is then you're paying for them to get to know you and get to know. And so there's a lot of ramp up money that comes in because it's so complex, the agency, and has so much history, but that's, I think it's a good point to see who else.
We have
can
this
get
guy
involved.
explain it to him.
practice, yeah.
That's why we have this guy.
I think it's good
You
practice.
pay for
That's the
the
reason we
education,
have this guy.
right?
Yeah, and
Well,
I would
they-
suspect that Kurt's going to have involvement with interviewing the other firms, so.
I would just add that school districts, which are governed by municipal law, do not bid councils. They normally find a firm that they can work with well, and they continue to work with that firm, and they just reappoint them annually.
It was just a question, just so
Yeah, no,
I'm do the right thing.
No,
I
no,
don't,
no,
too much
no.
conversation.
No, I think it's a good question.
All right.
It's just a yes or no answer, so we.
So can I get a motion to appoint?
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Uh,
Okay. Appointment of bank of the agency and accounts.
So moved.
So moved. Do we have a second? All in favor to appoint the community bank for our checking account? All in favor? Aye. Oh, I'm sorry, there's several others, sorry. Community bank for our CD account, our MMDA account, and our line of credit.
Well, actually,
No
that
longer
shouldn't be
line
there
of
yet.
credit.
We don't actually, yeah.
That
was paid off.
Okay, so we'll take that out, so we'll fix that.
Mhm.
Thank you. And then also have MBT Bank as the MMDA. So if all are in favor of that, we give it a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Second? I'm sorry. Opposed? Abstained? Thank you.
I do have a question about the line of credit. Even though we paid it off, does that mean now that we cannot have a line of credit?
It depends on its mature, well, if the collateral's released and you completely eliminated the line, then yes. If you left it intact with an availability and it didn't mature, then you still have.
Don't we want to do that? That's the right thing to do. Just for the
Keep it
future. It
open.
doesn't cost us anything, and we don't have to talk about it again.
Yeah, I don't know how they,
And
how the payoff went through.
Yeah, how was set up?
You want to
We can
check
check.
the line of
Yeah,
credit?
why don't we-
Yeah.
Check on that?
I have to go, I have to finish paying it off anyway. I paid off the line, I didn't pay off the interest yet. Cause I
So
had
it's
to
still
talk to Jim.
available, so I would leave it in there and then deal with all this.
No, the line. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right, we'll now move on to approval, confirmation of our agency policies. So we've got 4 different policies there. Any changes, corrections? If not, can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, motion approved and second, thank you very much.
Now, just as a note, because of a potential pilot with another non-for-profit, we may look at amending our uniform practice policy. But we'll come back to the board on that once we know what we're doing.
Okay. Okay, but as written, they're fine. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so we have a motion on the table, all in favor of approval of this board?
Sorry, that's the question.
No, are you talking about amending the policy or just deviating from the policy for that particular project?
It has to do with the housing project, and so I was having discussions last night with Joe Scott around 5:30, and I really haven't had a chance to go through our policy. He thought that there may have been some concern, even though we've done student housing and we've done senior housing, this would be for-profit housing, and so we wanted to check that, our policy on that, and see if we need to amend it.
Well, we can amend that in the future. if we
Yeah.
have to. Okay. All right, so the motion to approve these 4 policies on the table, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Same? Okay. We have an appointment of our contract officer.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Appointment of investment officer, Jeff Ward.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, now we need to move into our audit and finance committee setup. So we're looking for nominations for the chair of the audit and finance committee. Any motions?
Just wondering if we can make a sweeping
Yeah, that's
motion to keep the
same.
slate the same. So Jeff as chair, Craig as vice, with members.
The only one is the governance chair is currently Rick.
Right.
But we're on audit and finance.
Oh, well,
Right now it's
okay,
audit
I
and
thought you
finance,
meant
yeah.
finance.
Yes, okay.
Keeping the slate the same.
So moved.
Yeah.
Okay, and who are the members on that committee?
They're on the top line, so it's right now it's Patricia and Andrew.
Okay. And everyone's comfortable with that? The members who will be put forth? You're fine? Okay. Andrew, you good with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right, so the motion is on the table, has been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Move down to the project and oversight committee.
Same.
Motion is to keep the same slate of officers as we have.
Cheryl as chair, Tom as vice chair, and Patricia and Andrew both members.
Okay. And all members are willing to serve? Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Now we have the governance committee. The chair.
So we don't have governance yet. So currently Rick is the chair, Jeff Lord is the vice chair, and you guys are all members of that committee.
Okay. How would we like to set that up going forward this year?
I'd make a nomination to have Jeff Joyner as the chair.
Okay.
Second.
Any other nominations? Okay.
Okay.
So, motion's on the floor, it's been seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, vice chair nominations?
Tom?
Dave. For Dave, too, the other night, for Dave, there's Tom's advice on
He's got time.
Okay.
whichever, whoever's gonna arm wrestle, we'll entertain an arm wrestling.
All right, there's a motion on the floor, Dave Rowley be vice chair, is there a second? Okay. Dave, you're fine in that role?
Yes.
Okay. All in favor of Dave Rowley as vice chair of the governance committee? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, and we need 2 members to serve on this committee as well.
I would do it.
Okay, so I nominate Tom.
Second.
Okay, any other nominations for members to serve?
Is there a reason we did it all?
I don't remember. No, you guys went into executive session and you guys had this all figured out when we came back. So I can't give you a reason.
Any other nominations, members? Anybody would like to serve on this?
I will, no one else wants to.
All right, I nominate Cheryl.
I would second that.
All right, no other nominations, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. And then the selection of our newspaper for the IDA. Daily Star, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, with no other matters before us, before this meeting, we'll motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll move right into the OCCRC annual meeting for February 6th. Start out, actually, shouldn't we be starting out with a roll call?
We can, yes.
Yes, we should have done it for the meeting before, and we'll take this for both meetings.
Rick Holst, Jeff Joyner,
Here,
Jeffrey Lord,
Here.
Craig Galbusman, Tom Armeo,
Here.
Patricia Kennedy,
Here.
Cheryl Robinson,
Here.
Andrew Marietta.
And I'm here too.
And Dave Rowley is here. Oh, I didn't have you.
No,
Yeah,
Thank
he's
you.
on that.
thank you, Dave, sorry about that oversight.
That's all right.
All right, we'll move right into the, forego the chairman's comments. We'll move into the reorganization of our agency for this coming year. We've got the confirmation of our agency board meeting schedule for the fourth Thursday of every month at 8 a.m. Is everyone comfortable with that? Okay. We'll move right into election of the officers for the agency. We have a motion.
I would make a motion to have them the same as the, I don't know if I can do that, the IDA.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second, yeah.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Does it make a difference that they're at the same time and the same date? Just wondering.
Say that again?
They're the same day and the same time.
I can write
Meeting.
follow
Oh,
Sequoia.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
for that,
Yeah.
That would be good.
a small thing.
No, that's a good point. Thank you. All right, we have the appointment of the chief operating officer and agency staff, Jody and Megan. Could we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Appointment of the auditing firm regarding preparation of financial statements.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Move down to the appointment of the agency council.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of the bond counsel to the agency.
So moved. Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. And then we have the appointment of the bank, the agency and accounts. We have just one for this community bank, and it's a checking account. So I can have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Any second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstention.
And thank you very much. Move right into the approval and confirmation of the agency policies. We'll start out those 4 main policies that you had with the IEA. As written, the motion to approve.
So moved.
Second?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Appointment of the contract officer.
So moved.
All in favor? Oh, sorry, second,
Second.
excuse me.
Second.
Second, thank you very much. I'm ahead of myself. Motion to approve.
Aye.
Any abstain? Any opposed? Okay. Appointment of the investment officer.
So moved. Second?
Okay, thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So we move down to the audit and finance committee. Can I get a motion?
Can I just ask a question? Is it a requirement to have all these committees in this board? I know it is for the IDA, but is there a requirement for separate committees for this board?
That's a very good question.
I don't know what our, I know we
We have to
have
look
to
at
have
our bylaws.
separate,
We have to look
but
at our
I don't
bylaws.
know whether or not there's a reason to have a
There
separate
are in
committee.
our bylaws that we would have these committees, I believe. But
For-
there-
for both
but there is
boards?
But there's no requirement from the state controller's office at this time.
But it's in the bylaws for this, the
I believe that it is,
OCCRC.
Because when the
Yeah, I think you
county
probably
adopted
should
the
look.
or when the county created this agency, it was created with the same format as the IDA.
But that's a good question for this year as we go
I mean,
through.
it's,
We
you
can
know,
refer that
kind
to
of,
the.
if it doesn't have a function and you don't have to do it, it's kind of becomes,
Right, and I
Just
think one of the
pointless.
things, no, and that's a very good point where I think this year we should look at our actual bylaws, and I think that'll be something for the governance committee to go and look and to, bring forth.
Yeah, there's a number of
Any
things
changes?
we really do need to change. For example, the board meetings are supposed to actually be on the first Thursday of the month.
Right.
And we haven't gone anywhere that we've ever changed those bylaws.
We did,
We did, yeah,
we did.
yeah.
do we have a copy of the bylaws somewhere? Is it online or something? If you go
But
online.
really, in
you
the
can look at
respect of
it?
the
Yeah,
two
they're on our
agencies, if
website
there's
under
two,
documents.
if you
Okay.
look at, do 2 different projects, there's a formula to follow through projects into a regular board meeting to make this decision. It's just governmental,
Right.
so to have them both doesn't hurt anything.
Right.
You're erring on the side of saying, look, we're making a big decision here because all the money's over here, and how we move the money over here, there's always the big question. Do we just do it out of here, or do we transfer it over here? It was, when we were spending like the waterfall a few years ago, it was a big question continuously.
I agree with Craig.
So how do we
It's
feel?
just formality, that's
They're
what it
also,
is.
they're also joint, so it's already only one audit and finance.
Correct.
Anyway.
Right, so I guess I was gonna ask, how do we feel
So then-
about them being the same as the IDA, given that concept? Does that actually seem like it's counter to that concept of kind of the separation, or?
I somewhat agree with Cheryl that maybe you should have different members of the committees, because that way it won't look like you're rubber stamping.
Is that 2 meetings then?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask, because then I know you.
Does that
you're
become
looking at
2
two
different
meetings.
committee meetings now?
Yes. Different members.
It was the same decision coming out of the same committee, you know, that was what the concept was. Do you remember that, Kurt, when we were having billions of meetings, you know? So the same people,
But, and remember, the recommendations come from those committees and boards, so it's the
Correct.
vote on spending the money, it's the same slate of board members.
correct.
So my recommendation would be to actually use the same process that we've used in the past for right now, and charge the governance committee by June to come back with recommendations for structure and any changes to our bylaws. Does that sound
In
appropriate?
accordance with Albany.
Yes.
Kind of
In accordance with state, in accordance with the New York State law, yes. Is everyone comfortable with that?
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, just a chance to review it all. Okay. All right, so with that being said, we'll move into the selection of members for the Audit and Finance Committee.
We did.
So I'll make a motion to have them the same as the IDA.
Okay,
Second that motion.
motion second. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor for that, with that motion to have the same members of the Audit and Finance Committee as we have at the IDA? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. The Project and Oversight Committee? Project Oversight Committee.
Likewise, I nominate the same slate of members.
I would second that.
All right. Any other discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. And then we'll move down to the Governance Committee. A motion?
I make the motion.
Same slate.
Same slate as the,
I would second the motion.
Thank you, John. All right. Any other discussion? All right. Motion to, all in favor?
aye.
Any opposed? All right. And then can I get a motion to designate the newspaper down at Daily Star as the paper of the IDA?
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. All right. It is now the Audit and Finance Committee.
We'll skip chairman's comments and move right to the approval of the January 9th minutes. Any questions, comments, or modifications? Review?
Make a motion to approve.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Jeff. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? I'd also like to look at bills that are being presented to pay. If you look through the slate, you can see the vast majority is operating. There is some additional cost in there with the technology support for being set up and up to speed to be taking us on and setting up the camera and feed online. You'll see that under ISB. Notice the fence company where we had the damaged fence is fixed. We have our insurance, but that is property insurance as we reviewed today. So that's just the premium for that. We did have a couple of memberships with the, I think I thought I saw the chamber in here. And chamber and, and Southern Tier 8. So you see our memberships there. And then again, some streaming assistance when we initially set up the online streaming with Sweet Home Productions. Those are the kind of the outliers for normal operations. So I'd like a motion to pay the bills. So moved. Thank you.
Second.
Second. Thank you, Cheryl. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. On the back of that page is just for reference of the deposits that were made for the month. Certainly able to ask any questions if you have any, but that's just informational. Financial statements, you also have in the package, and Gordy, I'm not going to talk about the adopted budget, any of that information.
No, I think we're gonna probably streamline the budget for the review process. I don't think everybody's really concerned with individual details anymore. So it'll be a little bit more simplified.
And we're getting plenty of detail in the monthly P&L and the year-to-date P&L, so you can see where we're lining out there. And you have both of those in your both balance sheet and income statements, plus the portfolio, the loan portfolio update. Any questions or comments on those statements?
I just have a question. We have chamber, rent in here.
The budget,
We're gonna make an adjustment there, I assume.
Yes. Yes. If you notice in their email that they sent out, they want to terminate the lease as of next month. Our contracts actually say they have to give 3 months' notice, so I guess the question that we'll have to raise with them, are they going to honor that contract?
Whether we're going to enforce the contract, is that what you're asking?
I know the treasurer's position.
but I think, for me, I'd always put it in terms of unless we can find a tenant.
Yeah,
Right.
if you find
Yeah.
tenants in place, I agree with you.
That's the
It's a law anyways.
Mhm.
That's the purpose of the 3 months, so that you
Can find
have an opportunity to find
Find
someone.
somebody, and I agree, it's nice
That's
to
courtesy.
find someone.
Absolutely.
On their part.
I'm with the treasurer
Mhm.
that we enforce the contract.
I'm the one that said, that will say we should work toward that end, the assume an irretrievable position. And fights on Main Street won't help either of us.
No, I agree.
So just discussing, our position and see if we can negotiate close to that, but
Mhm.
we're gonna die on that hill. We'll be more than we do.
Absolutely not.
We may,
You can that cooler, can you serve it down home?
Certain things you can't fix. We're only responsible for us.
That's exactly right.
I want to be sure we do. what
You're
we
the
can.
highway, right?
Yes.
I'm sorry, we're in agreement that if we can find a tenant to move in,
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
they pay,
then you release them.
they pay just 1 month, that's great.
Do you intend to search for another tenant, or do you have it, I know we're probably not on topic, but did you have a game plan that you're thinking about for that?
Just found
Or
out
you just
yesterday.
What was that?
We just found out.
We don't have it.
Yeah, no, I haven't given much time.
Well, it seems to me that they ought to be motivated to assist us in that endeavor.
Correct. It should be.
They did that when they moved off the second floor. They found a tenant that could rent the second floor, so they didn't have to keep paying.
Okay.
They just didn't have
I think as we move forward, just because of the sensitivity, obviously to the revenue side of our budget, that we'll continue to talk to those tenants and see if there's any other movement projected for the year on an ongoing basis, because there's, you never know what's gonna happen. But keeping in touch with them on a regular basis will help us feel confident about those revenue streams.
And we ought to have conversations about what tenant might fit, given the close working conditions and shared
The synergies would
information.
be
You know,
nice.
somebody that complements what we're trying to do would be advantageous, not just somebody who paid the rent.
Right, yeah.
I
Exactly.
agree with you.
Any other financial statement comments or questions? Any new or unfinished business?
Just to bring up, I know that I talked with you about it to Megan. I asked Jeff and Megan to look about going to electronic checks, so we don't have to sign checks anymore, that we can do it all electronically now. Make that process a lot simpler and a lot easier. So they're gonna explore that, as an opportunity.
Next thing you know, everybody direct deposit too.
I know it's a foreign concept.
They do that. Took me
The
a while.
only thing we have to, I think the major thing to consider is only one person pushes the button.
Mhm.
It's just the papering of the approval of those transactions. That's what we have to do. But certainly it makes a lot of sense
Yeah,
to lean on technology to get rid of this paper.
And
For the governance
and maybe
committee,
just sending like a
and
finance
bylaws,
committee
how we do
a copy of the checks.
Yeah,
The checks.
The
Send that
approval
before I
with
see it.
an
Right.
approval.
And with an approval to come back to Megan, so that she can then authorize the checks being signed.
There's certainly some efficiencies.
Right.
yes.
To come with that.
But the point is, you're gonna have one person sitting remotely that's gonna move money out of an account, have the authority to do it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's, you have to have the check and balance with that, internally here.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then Jim will reconcile all the checks at the end of the month.
As long as you signers are good with it, it's your responsibility.
Yeah,
Mhm.
What, I think what you're saying is you still have to have an internal control mechanism.
absolutely,
Yeah.
because, again, just be crazy, it doesn't matter who that person is. But to come in and then you've got $300,000 sitting in the account. They go out, set up a payee that's an account in Caymans. Once
When
it's
it's
in
gone,
the bank, it's gone. I mean, you just have to be certain.
I'm trying to think of how we do like payroll for the hospital. Who authorizes that? I'm just trying to think of other industries, and you go and you do that if there's two authority to be able to say, okay, these two individuals have to sign off before they release it.
Correct. Gotta be two.
There's gotta be two.
Absolutely.
Can you do it electronically?
Well, we'll have to, I don't know, we'll have to explore.
Come on, I would think it must be.
But they're in the office together, those people, those same people are there.
No, I mean, we had this separate locations where they would do it, so, but again, it was two people had to sign off on it.
Electronically.
Yes,
Oh,
electronically.
okay.
So it
So
wasn't
we'll-
wasn't one, just one individual.
That's exactly my point, yeah.
So we just have to explore that.
BST rate increases, bullet point on here.
Yeah, when I first came here, his rate was actually higher than what we are paying him right now. But as you recall, when I first came here, I was trying to cut as much cost as I could to bring our budget more reasonable. So he actually took a pay cut with the last 2 years as well. They do a lump sum, and last year, he said he'd try to hold the line, which he did, and this year he's asking for a slight increase.
It's 50, it goes to 850, it was 800 now, it's going to 850 a month.
Well, first of all, the increase I don't think is unreasonable, just one percent, but to the point of why he lowered his fees, is that he was traveling here and doing more work prior, and then he cut his fees because we cut back on the amount of services he was providing. It wasn't I'm gonna be nice and lower my fee, I mean, we cut back the services. I think in context, that was appropriate, and now he's just looking at a slight increase for the, probably.
It was a combination of both. One is that his rates actually are higher for all of his other clients. He held that.
He held the line on the rate.
On the rates for the last 2 years for us. And then he did cut back his services in order to drop that number down. So it was the combination of both of those.
So we're looking for,
We can't
I think
pay
for me,
more.
that's still within your hands to make that decision ultimately.
Right, the problem is that our audit firm will ask that this board pass a motion to authorize the increase in rates. They'll want to see it in minutes.
I think that's reasonable, frankly.
Yeah, I just think that's interesting why that has to come here in terms of like if any other charges or services we're getting provided change, we don't approve that.
I don't know, 2 years ago, she asked to see the resolutions with the rate increase by the board or the contract with the board.
But we approved to accept them as council, we didn't do anything with rates. Do you know what I'm saying, like, so sorry to pick on you, like, if you were increasing his service rates, we've never discussed that or approved that. The RFP process, right, would be in place in terms of every 3 years
That's
to
what
ensure
they-
that
right.
is the choice that we're making.
Right, so that is the question again, with this vendor.
Do you have to go?
That's the question every time.
We can
It's government,
the
you're in
minutes, we
government.
discussed it.
Yeah, no, I'm fine approving it, it seems odd that that has to be in here as an
I
emotion
don't know
approval,
why.
but.
You're saying our audit firm is asking for that approval, that's what you're saying?
They questioned us when we decreased the rates, did we have a revised contract that was approved by the board? And he said, no, but we decreased them, so why are we worried about
But it necessarily, the services changed. It wasn't really a decrease. I don't know how someone would
They
figure
just
that
wanted
out.
to evidence our approval of the
Okay.
change. whatever
So I'll
that
make a
Exactly.
motion. I'll make a motion.
is. Yes, I second the motion.
Yeah.
it? I know it sounds silly.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Sorry.
Everyone
Anyone
involved,
opposed?
just you and I, we're good.
Well, I didn't ask. That's the last item on the Audit Finance Committee meeting, and motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Thank you. All right, we'll move into the progress meeting, for the chairman's comments, review of the January 9th minutes, any questions, changes in regards? If there are none, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So moving into the project charters first. We've got a couple maps here, I'm not sure if those are new, but first, so we'll go back to those, but first, the Oneonta Rail Yards.
Really, the big issue with where we are at right now is that we're entering a new phase, and it's that we asked 2 engineering firms to submit proposals back to us for doing some master plan work. Right now, if you look at the Oneonta Business Park, we actually have mapped subdivided parcels that we can actually put up for sale. When we finish the generic environmental impact statement, we just have a report that basically says what the environmental conditions are and what developable property is. There really isn't a master plan that was done. In anticipation of receiving reimbursements from some of the state grants that we've received, we asked Schumacher Engineering to do a proposal because they're an NWDE firm, and we asked MRB, because they've expressed interest in wanting to do this, to put in a sub-consultant that was an minority business owned firm as well. So we're waiting to hear back from them at this point in time. That's really the main next step that we're going to undertake. We're expecting that the proposals will come back in multiple phases. Phase 1 will be the master plan and subdivision. Phase 2 would be engineering design work for water, sewer, and natural gas extensions and roadway construction. But we want to have the master plan done first. We're expecting that won't cost that much money. But that's what the major changes on the railroad. We also have a community day scheduled. I think the date is
I read it somewhere, it's on your director's report, I believe.
we're working with 2 groups. One is the YMCA has about 12 to 15 volunteers that want to actually work on that weekend. And then the State University has a community working group that they schedule work for. So what will be required to do on that is probably pay for gloves, garbage bags, things like that.
Okay, any questions on
Really,
the rail yard? So again, because I feel like a broken record, we need to get this stuff updated. These charters are pointless if we're not keeping them maintained. So if we're not gonna do them, then we need to get rid of them. But otherwise, I've been saying this, I think, for about 3 months now. We need to get the budget and funding updated. If you're changing this project out and giving us a new project, closing out kind of what it was originally intended for and starting a new one, then we need to get that updated. So the activity log is great, but the charter should tell us information, and at this point, it's not really telling us anything. So for next meeting, let's get the charters updated. Andela, Ruby Lake, Glass.
and we're doing that change. We're just working with the MRB group to finalize the EDA application. That EDA application was received the grant. We forwarded that to the Mohawk Valley Development District. So review EDA grant applications. They came back with their comments. They were incorporated into the revised draft last week. That final draft was voted to the regional director of the EDA, because he wants to review it before we formally submit it to the federal government.
Do we have, because I know it's noted here and it's something we talked about previously, the commitment letters, I know that one of the partners was perhaps getting relative cold feet. Have we moved past that, or are we still in that stage?
We're still in that stage.
Okay, with still some uncertainty as to moving forward.
Not from Andela, and what she claims is that she will buy her partner out on Ruby Lake Gas just to move the project along.
Does she have the ability to do that?
That I do not know.
Okay. Both legally and financially.
But that's why I said, good question.
So with that in mind, we're not gonna get ourselves exposed to a whole
Right.
tremendous amount of expense until we know this is a deal, right?
Oh, that's correct.
Okay.
We had a meeting with ESD yesterday, where we talked about this project and we explained to them that that's one of the biggest issues right now. And that we're not gonna spend any more money on this until we have it done.
Is there any
Because
kind
we
of
need
time
those-
frame?
We need those letters from the two companies to submit the EDA.
Right, so submit the grant. So is there kind of a deadline looming for that?
Next week.
Yeah, okay.
No, it is. I
Yeah.
emailed them, Dallas, and I need this stuff.
Okay.
Because otherwise it's just gonna delay the project another 3 months.
Okay. Any questions on the class? Custom electronics expansion?
Custom electronics, they're actually doing very well. There's really no major issues with them. They've added 32 employees through the end of December of last year. They are losing some employees to Amphenol. But when I reviewed, on community development projects, we actually have to have a employee questionnaire. And when you review those questionnaires on each of the new employees, 15 of the people that they hired came from Sydney. So, I mean, it's not surprising that once they got trained, they were gonna say, well, geez, I can get a job in my back yard. Why not drive around the island every day? So we made 2 suggestions. One is actually hire people east of Oneonta, so people would have to drive further. Actually, 3 suggestions. The second one is when they provide training funds for them to be trained as welders, have them sign an agreement that they have to pay it back in 2 years if they leave. And then the third is that they made $1.3 million in profit over last year. They may want to consider doing some type of profit sharing plan with some of their employees. To entice them to
Or you could
leave.
run the competitive salary analysis against what Amphenol's paying and what their benefit package looks like.
So that's really kind of.
We say the cost of labor is going up for everybody, I mean, with scarcity of help.
Yeah,
People, it's just a reality we're all adjusting to painfully, but you can't run out of people, so.
Yep.
You know,
And related to that, Tom,
adjusting basically.
today, we were asked by the hometown journal if we would introduce them to Mike and Paris and Alex and those, and we did an article about them in their future. And what Jim Kelvin said was that he's hoping that this will bring people more interest in wanting to work there.
One good thing about this and other things that are going around in conversation is more conversation about more open jobs that we have people and the need for housing to have people. So it's beginning, when it's brought up before, it's a surprise to people. Hopefully at some point down the road, everybody becomes aware that it's not a surprise when we talk about housing, when we talk about people to fill the jobs we currently have. It's a common knowledge and we all begin to understand and try to move our strategies toward being successful.
so it would seem that, that this project's potentially closing out.
Yes,
For this year?
Close out this year.
So before we close that out officially, again, I would like to get the budget and funding numbers kind of in there for historical purposes. What have we recaptured, what have we recouped, and what has actually been spent. So just to get that all cleaned up again for historical, if we ever need to go back and refer, we have that available to us. We can close that out.
Regarding other things, the biggest thing, a couple of quick notes. You notice on my meetings, I'm doing more outreach with, Suleimana, besides the community development division, the community assistance. I met this month with Norman Brandon, who's the chief of staff of the college president. We've discussed where we can work together on projects, and one of the things that we discussed was the possibility in the future, maybe 2 years down the road, about building a, similar in Binghamton, the Kaufman Incubator Building, which is run by the State University. We'd like to see if we can work together on, in the next couple of years, to actually build that in the Oneonta Rail Yards. And she was gonna bring that back to the president to discuss. Obviously, the financial times are difficult in the next couple of years for everybody, including the State University. They work keeping an open mind about it.
Anything of highlight on the director's report, or does anyone have any specific questions regarding the director's report?
Now, the only other two things that I've added to the reports now is, you notice the last page was a response to referrals. We hadn't received a request from ESD for a minimum 50 acre site for a solar wind farm. Oddly enough, we did submit a site for that, which is in the town of Worcester, and it's owned by the county. It's about 150 acre site, so.
Is that solar/wind? I'm not sure what that means.
I don't know either.
It's very unusual. I mean, it's either solar or it's wind turbines. Utility scale, I'm assuming, for that.
I'm assuming so too. They gave us very little information on it, and they gave us 5 hours to respond to it.
Just wondering.
We submitted that. The other thing is that we're gonna list potential sales as we start selling properties. Not just our property, but there's one property for us that we're working on, and Mike now selling his building, in one of his buildings in the industrial park. Related to that, I've been given some positive feedback from the town supervisor that they would, in fact, the town board would support a community development application for the halal meat processing facility. So I'm meeting with the town board next week to go over that. Cade and the Small Business Development Center is coming with me to explain that project. So we're using a team approach.
So there seems to be 2 maps on here, I'm just kind of, this is something pertinent that you wanted to discuss.
We go with that. So that's
So
the,
that's
the plot of land. That's,
The
That's the
second
business
map is the
park.
land on business.
that's the
park.
plot of land that he did referral to for ESD. He said, it's ESD.
Gotcha.
That's the map.
Potential wind and solar,
Yes,
that's what this
that's
one
it.
is.
And the second map is the only on business park that shows you the potential sales for the properties.
Just real quick, I think I heard you say that 146 acres is currently owned by the county.
It was, I think that site was identified in the.
Yes, I agree.
The I-88 corridor study, distribution study.
Right, if you look at the bottom of the page, says property and development feasibility study, Interstate 88 corridor.
Yes.
So that
Right.
was-
There were, I guess, there was 2 viable sites. One the county owns, and I don't know where the other one was.
I think it's the original Shaniva's thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It looks like it's a forested site, which could be very interesting if you're going to clear cut trees for solar panels. Just a thought.
It's actually a lot of scrub.
I don't think it's a county forest.
It's not really heavy timber.
Oh, yeah, so you said it was a Worcester chart. Any other new or unfinished business? Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
just wondered about the follow-up from our strategic planning. Is this a thing on the strategic planning? Probably should have been in the meeting. I don't know when or what we're doing. Is that
I
follow-up?
went down and met with him, and we rearranged the boxes in that to summarize, and I'll be working with him on a report later this summer.
Great. Okay. So for our next month.
Can you just leave these in the packet?
Yep.